All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get started with our first press conference here for the pre-tournament edition for the 2024 Division III Women's Basketball Championships. Our first team with us today is New York University. Joining us today is head coach Meg Barber, as well as the 5 starters for the team. Coach, let's get started with you. The program is back to the Final Four after a couple of years. What's it like as a team accomplishment? And what can we expect heading into this weekend?
You know, it's exactly what we've worked for, so I feel a little bit of a sense of relief for the work that these players have put in, and have personally felt as a head coach here that this has been sort of a long time coming, getting ousted on the road in the Elite Eight the last 2 years and having a chance to clinch this program, at least for this group's first trip to the Final Four at home. In front of an incredible home crowd. So it feels amazing to represent. I'm such a proud coach every day to represent this group, and we're looking forward to a great weekend.
Yeah, I guess just matching up against a familiar opponent. You talked about last year's Elite Eight loss. Obviously, your competition, the semifinals, Transylvania. What can we expect about the matchup? What are we going to be looking at there?
They're extremely well coached, powerhouse defensive team. We're also known for our defensive prowess, so I would not expect a super high-scoring game, but you know, we have a ton of respect for Transylvania. Obviously, you know, with this matchup in the semifinal, 2 undefeated teams, and knowing that we're going up against the defending champs, you know, they have a lot of experience being here. So, but we're not just happy to be here. You know, we're coming in with a game plan to compete, and I would expect them to, you know, similarly, we're very different from last year. We have a little bit of personnel change, and they're very different with what they're looking to do in terms of their strengths offensively as well. So I think it'll be a very different matchup from last year, but the core identity of both of these teams is defense, and I think both teams will definitely bring it.
Sure. And just from the players, anyone can chime in on this. What's it mean to kind of have a coach like Coach Barber here leading you, and as well as all of the assistant coaches involved in the coaching staff? Obviously, one of the more successful groups of coaches for NYU in terms of winning percentage. What's that like to have coaches like that for you guys?
I've loved having Coach Barber the past 3/4 years. My freshman year was the COVID year, but knowing that this culture has such a rich history of staying within NYU, Coach Barber obviously played 4 years, had a great run there, and then you know our AD, also former coach, played at NYU as well, Janice Quinn. But knowing that their love for NYU has created such a strong culture, and they recruit really well in terms of the people they want to build that culture, and I think that that has helped with our success so far, and it's made it a really memorable journey.
Anybody else?
Yeah, and I would say too, this is my 5th year on the team, and it's really more of a family than it is just like our coaches, and we really appreciate that and how close we are, and that I think that's really what helps us to succeed on the court for sure.
Anybody in the crowd have any questions, anything to add here before I keep rattling off my list? Sure.
So this team is like the defending national champions. Do you guys feel like you guys are like coming in as an underdog?
I think in a way, considering the history with NYU and Transylvania, and you know just how they're also undefeated too. So I think a lot of people are rooting for them to go win it again undefeated, and they're not expecting too much from us in terms of putting up a fight. So
they also have like the highest rated defensive efficiency in the country. How did you guys like prepare for that?
Go ahead.
I think we have a lot of threats offensively, and I think we're really just trying to focus on ourselves and focusing on our game plan and what we can do, and we know our strengths and trying to play to our strengths.
Ladies, Liz Condo with NCAA.com and ESPN. Congratulations.
Thank you.
While you ran the table with the W's, did you guys feel that there was any defining moment or moments on or off the court to get to this page today?
I think I said this in another interview earlier, but we played Tufts at the end of our first semester, and like Coach Barber mentioned, we have a lot of new pieces this year, so kind of figuring that out at the beginning of the year was a little bit of a task. But that game, I feel like with our community, like at home, we really felt everyone come together, and then we knew moving into conference, we obviously have a really tough conference with the UAA. That moment sparked the the time of like, we really have something here and we think we can go do something in our conference and then beyond conference do something in the tournament, which is, you know, why we're here now.
Question over here. So of the 5 of you, 3 of you have been here with NYU for at least 3, 4, 5 years, and then the 2 of you there have only been there 1 year. How was the assimilation process, and how do you explain that you've been so successful right off the bat?
I think it really starts from the top with the leadership of Coach Barber, Coach Nettie, Coach Annie, and then trickles down through our captains, Bruns, Bell, Jordan, Erica, and Honor do a great job. And like since the beginning, when we first got here in the summer, did a great job of creating team bonding events. And it started off the court and then got into our pickup and everything like that. And we've continued to build those bonds as we've gone on the road and traveled, and really just have picked that up. And it's friendships that will last a lifetime.
How have you guys avoided the type of thing where you've got a lot of talent up there, and how did the fact that you are so unselfish and are able to defer to your teammates? You know, not every team is like that. How does that develop?
I definitely think it's because we all share a common goal. You know, we all want to win a national championship, and I mean, the only way to do that is sometimes you have to give up a bucket for someone else who has an easier shot, or like that's their shot. Like Erica in the 3. Like if I'm right at the basket and I see her wide open in the corner, I'm gonna give it to her every time, like because I know that's her shot and that's such a high percentage, and you know, whatever gets us the W, really.
You go ahead.
I think it also comes down to who our coaches recruit and the type of personalities that are on this team. We are best friends, like Megan was saying, and that translates to the court. You want to see your teammates be successful as well as yourself, and I think that translates to, you know, how many people we have in double scoring figures on average on most games. So.
First of all, congratulations for making it to the Final
Thank you.
Four. You guys are an undefeated team, and you've been pushing really hard to get here this whole season. How has your mentality in the game changed from the beginning of the season to now being up here on the Final Four stage?
I think that just knowing that we have all this experience together, individually, we're all upperclassmen. We all have college experience playing college basketball, but knowing now that we've gone through so much together, like I said earlier, our UAA schedule is really tough, going through that together. And then just knowing that some of this, it's our last go around and really playing for each other. That's a big emphasis that Coach Barber has made moving towards the end of the season.
Let me jump in with the follow-up on the UAA schedule. You guys have all kind of mentioned how tough it is with the competition level. Obviously, the UAA is one of those conferences that's spread out geographically as well. What kind of add does that, having to travel, you know, take flights places throughout the season, what does that add to your schedule in preparing for those games?
I definitely think coming in, it was a little bit of a shock for me. Coming from a busing league to now flying a day before the game, and then leaving either right after the game or like heading somewhere else the next day. It definitely made me more conscious of how I recover and how I prepare for games in terms of stretching, shooting, and just overall being ready mentally for that. Since we have to leave on Thursdays and we miss so much school. So it's just being more prepared and better time management throughout my entire week.
I would add to that too. You know, it takes a maturity to do it. You know, it's a very difficult balance. These are academically rigorous majors across the board. And, you know, even bringing in 2 grad students this year, in terms of the recruitment, that's something we're identifying. Like, can this person handle the rigors of the, you know, practice, competition, academic balance of this league? Because it is very unique. And one thing I will add is, when we walked into the hotel last night, I thought, well, it kind of just feels like a UA trip in a way, because we're kind of used to, okay, get off the bus, get to your rooms, like come down to eat, you know, film the next day. So in that way, I think this has, you know, the start of this has felt very much in a rhythm of what we're kind of used to with the UAA.
Question for Coach Barber. You've obviously coached a lot of teams in your years as a coach, but what makes this unit so special, considering there's a lot of new faces and the records you guys are setting? What just makes this year different from every other year you've had?
I mean, the level of talent is is exceptional. You know, we've had really, really good pieces, and I think you could find a little bit of a weakness here and there. And I think, you know, with the addition of Morgan and Bauman, we have really kind of sealed up some of those things, and also to the point that these guys talked about, Morgan and Bauman came in and they're pros. They are absolutely pros. They are taking care of their bodies. They're getting sleep. You know, I go to sleep at night every night, you know, outside of being worried about the opponent. I rest very well knowing that these guys are taking care of what they need to take care of. There's no babysitting. There's no worrying about any of that. The captains and the leaders of this team make sure that the team is doing what they need to do. And the other piece of it that may be kind of something people aren't looking at or don't get to see is our scout team is unbelievable. We have a group of wildly talented freshmen who really are able to kind of form whatever opponent we have coming up, and you know, really get the team ready in a way that we've never been able to kind of do. So our scout team has really kind of, you know, pushed the limits of what these guys are doing, and I think it's kind of helped us continue to take the next step in terms of the NCAA tournament.
And then just a quick follow-up off the court, the relationships, the emotion of this team. Whoever wants to speak to it, what's unique about this team, and how has that played into the success you guys have had this year?
I think what's unique is our situation, going to school in New York City, not really having a campus, living in apartments, subwaying. That's not things that normal college kids do. And like Coach Barber said, you know, traveling with the UAA takes maturity, and I think going to NYU and playing at the Division III level at this competition, it takes maturity as well. So, you know, as upperclassmen, kind of teaching the underclassmen what that looks like, and I felt the open arms of upperclassmen when I was a freshman, so continuing that culture and, you know, growing off the court just in New York City as young adults.
Anybody have any final questions for New York University here before we let them go? All right, ladies, looks like we're all set with questions today. I'd like to thank you for your time with us, Coach, and the 5 starting lineup. Would like to also wish you good luck this week and hope the best for you guys.
Thank
you
you
very much. Thank you, guys.